vocês, como estão? Да.
Command F.O.G. And he was just doing his rounds.
Нет, вижу вражеский верх солдата. Я приезжаю.
That's right. Keep moving. Jackpot, I repeat, jackpot.
Hey! Who's that? Прошу. Прошу прощения. Нет, прошу прощения.
F.O.G. to command. I've been hard compromised. I'm breaching.
Victor. Vlad. Hey! Who's that? Hi guys, welcome to Foghorn 5. Have you ever wanted a shorter M4A1? Basically right here.
He's on to something. So yeah guys, this is the Mark 18, or this gun specifically, CQBR. Before we start even going into that kind of stuff, I just want to give a shout out once again to all the people who've been subscribing, leaving comments. You guys have been making us really happy. It's so cool to see you guys appreciate the content we're trying to make. Also the people critiquing us, you know, we're learning stuff from you guys, so don't be afraid. Don't think that we're gonna get offended by you guys critiquing us.
Yeah, please correct us if we have any mistakes.
Anyways, to get into the video, so the Mark 18 or the CQBR. So Tyler, why don't you go ahead and give us a little rundown on the history of this gun. Tell us what the differences of those two things are, because you probably hear both of those names get thrown around, but you're not exactly sure what they mean. So
yeah, people get confused on which one's which, but I'll start with what came first. In 1999, NSW's Crane division wanted to develop a shorter weapon platform to mitigate the issues that they had with longer rifles going into close quarters environments. What was born was the Mark 18 Mod O, and that was developed in 1999, and then they finally finished development around 2001, sometime after the September 11th attacks, began to see operational use in 2002. So the Mark 18 Mod O was built from Crane as a complete package. So they'd have an M16A1 lower, M4A1 upper with a flat top, a 10 3-inch barrel, an optic, and then a laser, stuff like that. And then as of NSW's request, Crane began development on the CQBR Block 1. It is the close quarters battle receiver, so it's just the upper. They began development in 2004-ish. By 2005, it was officially adopted. Basically an improvement on the rail system. The MK18 MOD O had a RIS rail, which didn't clamp onto the barrel very securely, so they improved that with the RAS.
The CQBR is the example of where it's just the upper being issued onto whatever gun you already have, but the MK18 MOD O is the full package issued. There you go, guys. That's just a little brief history. This video is not really about that. This video is about my personal weapon. We'll eventually make a clone video going into the in-depth history of this rifle. Tyler's been working pretty hard at that. Let's go ahead and get into my clone, my rifle, and talk about what I had to do to get it working, some things that I had to fix, so maybe whenever you guys are ready to build yours, you could kind of follow my guide. All right, guys, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get into my part list and price breakdown for these parts. We're gonna go ahead and start off with the base gun. So the base gun is a VFC Colt marked MK18 MOD 1. So this initially was the MOD 1 or the Block 2. My eyes were set on the MOD O at the time. So they usually go around like 350, 400. I found this thing on Hop Up, gutted, which was perfect because I wanted to HPA it for 283 opposed to, you know, that 400. So that was awesome for me. I love VFC. I think that they have really solid build quality on externals. Their internals are great too. You'll hear people rave about them. Obviously, it doesn't really matter when you HPA it, but once again, just the exterior build quality is great. The only thing that I have an issue with is I just wish that the Colt stamping or, you know, trademark was actually engraved a bit deeper. It's like so hardly there. All right, so yeah, that's the gun. So the next part we're gonna talk about is everything up here. So we're gonna start with the barrel. The barrel is a 10.5 MK18 MOD O barrel. I found this assembly from a parts bin, actually, from like Extreme Airsoft. I literally found everything I needed in one shot, which was so perfect. I found the barrel, gas tube, delta ring, the handguard clamp, the front sight post, all in one shot. It was just really beat up, so I just repainted it. I think I powder coated it or spray painted it and brought it right back to life.
This is the SOCOM profile barrel too. Yeah.
So once again, got from a parts bin. It was really cheap. I got for 25 bucks. So that was really good, really cool. Little steal I got. All right, now that we talked about the barrel, talk about the next thing up, which is gonna be the handguard. So the handguard is a CAC RIS handguard. So this is what it is in reality. I got it from Evike. The company that makes it is called Bolt Airsoft. It's their CNC aluminum RIS 2-piece handguard rail system.
CAC RAS has even numbers. This is the RAS, not the RIS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The RAS is the updated version.
There's actually some modifications I had to do to it to get it to fit on this barrel well. Airsoft, one thing about it is shit jiggles, shit wobbles, especially with this. It is not at all a solid mounting platform. This entire handguard will shift if you don't have it modified somehow. So what I went ahead and did, I took 6 metric screws, or these giant like bolt heads, so when everything clamps down, I could adjust them all on my barrel and squeeze them forward on the barrel. Once I did that, this thing is super solid. One thing, if you get this exact handguard, you are gonna have to make these cutouts right here. That's literally so those screws can clamp right in there perfectly. Without those, it's not gonna work. We gotta do what we can with Airsoft. That's why we're doing this video. I show you my guide on how to kind of fix problems if you have yours. Another thing I had to do to kind of stop wobbling from here and here is put Velcro. There's tape on here, it looks kind of gummed up. That's so I can just protect the barrel, the actual look of the barrel from these big screws that are in here, because I don't want to mess it up. For me, I don't know about you guys, handguard and barrel security and how much it wobbles really drives me crazy, so it's something that I set out and came up with something to fix. Another thing along with that is, so this barrel system is really weird. So it's like a 2-piece barrel system, and so this end pushes into there, and there's grub screws that hold it down. So Loctite these and really fucking wrench on them to not let this thing move, because this plus this all can move. And if it's all loose, you could fucking Indian burn your handguard essentially. All right, next up we're gonna get into my muzzle device slash suppressor. This is a VFC CAC M4 M16 QDSS NT4 suppressor. So in reality, this is just what, the NT4 Knights Armament suppressor?
Yeah, NT4 and QDSS.
Right, but I just gave you the actual Airsoft listing of it, so it's a VFC made one. They usually go for 70 to 100 bucks. I got this thing on Hop Up for 50 bucks. There's a catch to that. This thing is chewed up to all hell, and once I put it on my birdcage, I'm literally never getting that thing off. talk about airsoft goofiness. All right, next up we're gonna be talking about accessories that are going on my handguard. So sitting on the top rail, I'm gonna have a Somo Gear PEC 2 old school visible laser and flashlight system. So the real PEC 2s are IR only. This is a full IR nighttime shooting laser. That's what it was intended for. Obviously the Somo Gear or Airsoft counterpart is going to have that visible laser, which is cool. So, and this one has an IR as well, so you can do both with it. Great quality, this thing looks awesome. It's $69.99, so 70 bucks. What a great price point for such a cool accessory to put on your gun.
Yeah, and one thing to mention is the nylon polymer fixture that they do.
Yeah.
You could see like the glass fibers in it, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Build quality is great. Somo Gear is hands down my favorite laser company.
Oh, yeah.
If you're cloning, I would not suggest another company, to be honest. All right, so next up, coming on the left side of my handguard, we're going to have a PEC 5, a CVL 001AN PEC 5. So this is actually a 3D printed model. So I got this on, I think like Yegi, Colts 3D. It's out there on multiple things. This file in particular was 1558. The guy that I bought this from, there was a couple parts missing in the file. If you're gonna buy this, just be aware of that. I don't know if he's updated it, but I did contact him. He does reply. He gave me the rest of the things that were missing, and I went ahead and made my own sticker sheets. I'll probably link my sticker sheet somewhere in the video in case you guys want it, because I don't think he had one. It is a really cool little replica for, you know, an item that isn't made out there in the replica market. I went ahead and kind of put some weights inside of it, and I put a little gold screw cap inside of there so you can kind of get the look of a little laser pod in there.
Somo Gear, please make these.
Yeah, Somo
and
Gear.
the Pack 4. Yeah.
I'd buy those in a heartbeat.
Same.
All right, finally coming around at the bottom of my handguard, I'm gonna have a CAC forward pistol grip, the Knights Armament forward pistol grip. So this is a real one. One little like cheaper thing that you could kind of spend some money on when it comes to real steel stuff is grips. Airsoft grips are really shitty. This grip, it stays on there really well, does not wobble, doesn't move. My handguard wobbled before the grip did, so I'm gonna talk about my optic now. So my optic that I got is a Spec Precision Aimpoint Comp M2 with the Wilcox mount, so this came as a whole package. Spec Precision, I looked last night, they do not sell this anymore, so I don't know what the deal is with that, if they're gonna put it back up.
No shit.
I got it for $64.99. At the time on their website, they had options for green and red lasers. I kind of want to be authentic to the clone. A real Aimpoint Comp M2 does not have a green option, it's only red, so I want to stay true to that. Really awesome optic, really awesome replica, the Aimpoint engravings and everything on it. All right, now we're gonna get into the rear iron sight, right? So this right here is a Amazon LMT rear sight replica.
LMT made it because Crane was chopping carry handles.
That's something that I actually have thought about doing, buying a carry handle and chopping it, because that's just kind of a cool vibe.
That's
but if
like
you
very early Mark 18 motto vibe.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, it literally is the back end of a carry handle. So, really cool. Definitely a vibe in itself. I got this thing for $12.99 on Amazon. All right, now we're gonna move on to the buffer tube and my buttstock. So I went ahead and went with the Car 15 stock. I think it's so cool. It's so nice and comfy. It's so slim. It's when you're actually moving in and you're putting it in your armpit and you're pushing it out, this thing's never in the way. I got this thing off of Hop-Up. I got it for 16 bucks. I bought it along with a waffle stock. I think I paid like 20 something, but I'm splitting it in half. I got it for 16. And this thing was initially painted tan, so I repainted it back to black. And it's actually pretty cool because the way it wears, it like wears with tan.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's a cool little vibe it's got going. For the charging handle, I just got a simple JG Works AIM charging handle for M4 series Airsoft AEG rifles. It was 15 bucks. I literally just need the standard charging handle. I wish an Airsoft AEG company made a Gas Busters charging handle, because they make them for MWS Tokyo Maruis. I've been thinking about possibly buying one and seeing if I could modify it to put it on this gun.
You could definitely do that.
So that might be a little video I might make in the future, because the Gas Busters would be sick. But once again, for the clone, the standard M4 charging handle works perfectly. After that, we're gonna go into my grip. This is an A2 polymer grip from a Part Spin. I literally got it for like 5 bucks. You can find these things everywhere. I don't know why a lot of people don't want them. They always take them off their guns, and I think they're
I think they're a vibe.
I think they're the comfiest grips out there.
Same.
A lot of people have all those like competition shooter grips, and I don't know.
Fight in the comments.
Yeah, fight with me in the comments,
Yeah.
dude. This grip is way better. I'm not gonna lie. And
The
also,
A1 is a little bit nicer.
I like the
groove has
groove.
never bugged me.
Yeah, the groove has never bugged me. I like it. My sling plate is what was already on the gun when I bought it from the guy. I just didn't really think to change it. The fact that it was already on the Mark 18, I was like, okay, that's perfect. That's fine. I don't need to mess with it.
Yeah, it's basically just a replica of the CQD sling plate.
There you go. Breaking the divider between externals and internals, we're going to talk about the trigger. So this is a Gate Nova trigger. It's the 2E1 for AEG V2 gearboxes. I got it for $28.99. So the reason I specifically really like this trigger is because it has that adjustable screw. And I'll go into why in a second, why I like that, but you know, it's awesome. You could put as much adjustment on there. Even want a hair trigger kind of vibe. I want more of an authentic trigger. But even if you want that hair trigger, that trigger right there is gonna do it for you. So no matter what you're doing with a AEG platform or HPA platform, they make multiple shapes. It actually is a little bit harder to find their just like stock M4 trigger. But
GI
yeah, the GI trigger, that's what I like. I don't really like those competition triggers, the flat triggers. They're just kind of to me. I just like the feel of the, you know, GI classic trigger. All right, now finally getting into internals, we're gonna talk about my HPA engine. I have a Kythera V2. I got it for $296. So I think that was a blemished one because they're usually a little bit more expensive, like 300 bucks. I could be wrong, I don't remember exactly.
They sell them direct blemish.
Yeah, always go for a blemish, honestly. It's literally just like,
Cosmetic.
yeah, cosmetic. It's just like a scrape on the Kythera logo or something. It does not affect the gun at all. I love the Kythera. I don't care about full auto, you know, especially HPA already kind of gets a bad rep, so I don't really care about having the full auto. It makes me seem a little less of a target. Yeah. I just love the trigger feel. That mechanical trigger feel, that really attracted me to it, and the fact that there's no battery. HPA itself is already just a one-piece piston moving, so it's so simple. And you know, take that away, get rid of the electronics, and bam, easiest and the cheapest out there on the market when it comes to HPA. Once again, that's why I got that trigger. AEG triggers, you know, have that little bit of springy slack in there. Get that trigger, tighten it right up against the Kythera's trigger lever. This thing, all it is wall, click, wall, click, wall, click, and it's, you know, no spring in between. So that's an awesome setup if you're looking to try to get an HPA to feel a little bit more authentic to a real trigger pull.
You tighten up that screw up against the trigger sear or something?
Yeah, so essentially if the, you know, the trigger is hinging right here, there's a screw right here that pushes it further up against whatever like piece it sits on the gearbox, and it engages the trigger more and more. And then you kind of find that sweet spot right where it's touching the trigger sear.
So there's no slack.
Yeah, because usually there would be like this much slack. So
right.
All that spring, and then you touch and then click. But for me, it's just
wall. Yeah,
yep,
straight wall.
it's perfect. Next up, we're gonna get into my grip line. I have a Clover Airsoft or Amped heavy weaved grip line. I got it for $34.99. I always recommend the heavy weave lines. Even this one is starting to fray. Your grip line is gonna be moving around a lot. It's a high stress part, so spend that extra money to get that high weave grip line. Grip lines aren't gonna really vary as far as how good they are. Just make sure you get the right one for your engine. All right, so the very last thing we're gonna talk about is just what I got going on for my internal barrel setup. You can see it sticking out right here. It's not exactly a 10.5. Anyways, my barrel itself. So I got a Prometheus 6.3 EG tight bore inner barrel for Airsoft AEG by Lilacs. 275.5 millimeter barrel. So I tend to try to get my barrels to stick out a little bit more. Sometimes you'll run into issues where suppressors and stuff nick the BB, then you can't use it. In Airsoft, honestly, your range is so limited, especially if you're building short guns. Like, I think as much as you could do, max out that range. Next thing we're gonna get into is my bucking. So I have a Maple Leaf Super Silicone hop-up bucking for Airsoft AEG rifles. This is a 70-degree bucking. Don't be like me, I went through this whole escapade of trying 80-degree buckings. It doesn't work, man. I had a misunderstanding on how hop-up unit works, and I wanna make a video going over that. 70 degrees, perfect when you're trying to shoot heavyweight BBs, which I'm doing. I'm shooting 30s lowest. I'll go up to 40 sometimes if I need to, but yeah, I like to shoot heavyweight BBs. That Maple Leaf bucking was $9.95, so really cheap. Now, very last thing is gonna be my hop-up unit. So I have a Max Hop, it's the blue one. I always hear like talk about that one is specific for HPA and one is not. I genuinely don't know the answer to that question. I feel like there would be no difference because it's AEG platform, right? I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong.
It might be because of the nozzle on the HPA.
Yeah, but they're the same profile. Yeah. Once again, correct me in the comments. I'd actually like to know a hard answer to that. But anyways, so that max hop-up was $69.99. So here's the thing, hop-up units don't really matter that much. It's not gonna change the performance of your gun whatsoever. It's just changing...
Quality of life.
I guess, yeah. I think as long as you have a metal CNC hop-up, even if it's stock, it's gonna be fine. Honestly, like Tyler said, more of a quality of life thing. The max hop is awesome because it's gonna save your BBs from falling out every time you put your mag in and out.
And you can release them.
Yeah, you can release them. They come with their own nub system. One of the things that you should be changing every once in a while is your nub and your bucking, because they're gonna wear. With the max hop, when you're using that hard metal nub, that metal nub isn't gonna wear. So all you need to change out is your bucking. So it kind of reduces one last thing. Once again, a quality of life thing. All right guys, so we're gonna actually get into assembling this thing now. You're gonna be able to see all the little tips and tricks that I do to get this thing to be more secure, and just watch me set up my rifle. First thing we're gonna start with is my handguard. Here's the way that we gotta do this. Got a little tool, so you need a little wrench or whatever, and we're gonna first put the top part of our handguard on. Make sure it's going the right way. So you can already see that the screws are making it go on there a bit tighter than usual, but there we go, we're in. But you can see we're moving, right? See that movement? I know it's very minute, but that is gonna drive me crazy. So what we're gonna do is take this, and we're literally just gonna wrench on these things until that thing doesn't move anymore. So pretty caveman moment, but honestly, when it comes to airsoft, you gotta do what you gotta do. You just gotta be careful not to munch up your actual handguard. I just wanna get this thing as tight on there as I can. So there's literally no room for movement. I feel it not moving up there.
Quite the monkey way to do it.
Right? But come on, you can't lie. This is pretty smart, right? For a fucking airsoft fix. Dude, look at that. Come on, man. You feel that shit.
That's fucking awesome.
Feel it. That's pretty damn sturdy.
That shit ain't moving.
Yeah. So there you go. Awesome little fix. Now when it comes to this, because it goes on there, you can't adjust it the same way. So this is a little bit more of a tricky procedure. I got washers in there. And I kind of, you know, put the washer on, tighten it, put it on, tighten it, put it on, loosen it, put it on until it, you know, gets to the tension level you want.
Yeah.
The way that I have this set up, you almost like really have to crank on the metal and kind of bend it a little bit to fully get it on. But once it's on there, this thing will not move. See how it's out? And then watch. I'm going to put it in. There you go. That's in there. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And that's fully seated in the delta ring?
Yep. It's all the way in there.
Nice.
The screws in here wasn't something I did until recently because I was having issues with just this part still moving.
Right.
And then I finally went ahead and did that to the bottom part, and bam, issue fixed. If you're gonna ever deal with loose clamshell handguards and they have those screw points, definitely a fix you might want to look into. So we got that on. I like to put this on. It kind of helps. So I want to put it all the way down there. Twisty, twisty, sucky, sucky, sloppy, sloppy. Like that. Right. Yeah. Just kind of cool little look. Can't go wrong with the cool
Ranger band.
Ranger band. Yeah. So now we got that going on. Gonna move on to this. Once again, this thing is never coming out. It is fully on there. You try pulling this thing. Right, not coming out. It's just on there. So I'm literally just gonna screw the entire thing on. Lefty tighty for airsoft. Make sure that you don't destroy your threads by going the wrong way, like a imbo style. There you go. We're going. These stocks are really easy to put on and off. There we go. Another thing, I put a piece of Velcro inside of the stock, so it's hard to pull out, but no wobble. I'm a huge wobble hater. I'd rather it be harder to pull out than wobble around. Next up, we're gonna do the broom handle, cat grip. So to unscrew this. All right. Back it out a little bit more. Dead in the middle. Actually, one thing, I don't want to get there because then it's going to wobble too much.
Put it one in front, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Bam. Pretty sick.
It looks cool with no rear iron.
Yeah, it does. Speaking of which, we'll go ahead and put that on next. That's going to go all the way on the last one. Too crazy with it. I just don't want my stuff falling off. When I was waiting for my parts to come, I ran it like this, and it's actually really fun just to run with irons. It's a really cool gun to just run like this, and it's so light with nothing on it the difference between it being like this and the rest of the stuff we're gonna put on is pretty big. We'll do the optic. I think last time I had it on T12. This optic wobbled too. I put some E-tape, electric tape, up in there. Once you tighten that thing down, it stops it from wiggling around. This gun specifically is like the wobble monger. I've never had so many wobble issues with any guns in my life. Tighten this just a wee bit more. A wee bit. A wee bit more. Not too much. Don't want to break stuff. All right, well, still wobbles a little
You gotta
bit.
add more tape.
Yeah, that's just airsoft. Look at that. All this stuff I'm doing and I'm still getting wobble. I don't think I actually mentioned earlier the reason that you have two of these PEC boxes is because this one is a visible laser and that one's IR. So back in the day, if you want to shoot with two types of lasers, you know, IR and visible, you needed two different lasers. Nowadays you have a PEC 15 that does both. Kind of a cool little progression of technology right there. Let's go ahead and get this thing on. I'm gonna put this thing as far up as I possibly can. That's how I like to run it. There we go, right there. What we're gonna do, screw that in now. Pretty cool. At this point, it's kind of the debate, flashlight, another laser, or both. Whatever you like. This already is kind of very typical how you're gonna see it set up, but I really like the look of this. So we're gonna go ahead and add that. With this thing, it's kind of tricky. So I need to get my finger in there to stop that bolt from moving. Screw this thing down. It's really tricky to do. Especially because you're holding it like at an angle, so it's not fully seating on the rail.
Yeah.
Bam, got it. And here we go. This is my Mark 18 Mod O. I absolutely love this gun. So this gun's very special to me. It was kind of my first, or it was my first clone. I've done a lot of stuff with this gun. I've gone hiking so many times with it. I've played with it 1,000 times. I progressively played with it as I was getting parts, so like I know how to use this gun. From iron sights to laser to optic to everything. This gun is almost like my rifle to me. Like, I don't know, man, just something about this gun. It's just like my gun. I just feel that way about it. Yeah, I love it. It's such a vibe. I'm such a fan of retro. I know this isn't necessarily retro, but kind of retro vibe guns. And
Getting
stuff.
there now.
Yeah, it's getting there for sure. And yeah, it's just so cool. Such a cool piece of history. It's really fun. One of my favorite things about it is just the discipline of using it. It's you don't have space here because you have all this stuff right here, so you can't really do a C-clamp. You kind of forced to grip it like that. You're co-witnessing the iron sights and the red dot all in one go. So when you look down this thing, you're usually looking at all of your sight pictures all at once. It's just, I don't know, it's such a cool sight picture. There's nothing really like it. Modern guns are so clean and perfected. This is a little dirty and you know, a little more of a challenge to use, and I think it's fun because of that. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys were entertained by me putting my gun together. Once again, like I said, I love this gun. It's just such a cool little piece of history, an awesome replica to have, and honestly at a very fair price point. That's kind of why I took it on as my first clone. Very easy, accessible gun to do, and all these parts are very readily available. I'd probably say the hardest thing to find is this, to be honest. It's more or less, do you want to buy it new or used?
Alright guys, thanks for joining us today. We have another video planned on doing the Mark 18 history as a whole and like parts used on it. I did a lot of research and really like hunkering down on that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, go check that out when that comes out. Thank you for subscribing, thank you for commenting, thank you for the likes. You know, thanks for watching. You know, just stay tuned. We got a lot more planned, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys. Thanks for watching.